the tail end of any superstar player's career, has a lot of ups, but has many downs. Now, for Wayne Gretzky, from about 1991 with the Toronto Argos ownership to the end of his career, and especially not getting called upon for the shootout in overtime against the Czechs in the Nagano Olympics, where technically cost Canada a gold medal. There was a lot more downs, of course. And the biggest problem was Bruce McDonald in L.A. causing a whole bunch of rigmarole with his financial misdoings, which eventually led him out of L.A. into all places the St. Louis Blues lineup. Now today we're going to be talking about that Gretzky era from the 93 Stanley Cup loss against Montreal and right up to the time in St. Louis before he went to the Rangers. Now, a little bit of backstory at the time, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne Gretzky wasn't the healthiest player in the rink in the early 1990s. But rumor has it, as early as the 92-93 campaign, he was suffering recurring back injury problems. Now, that year, his 65-point output ended a record 13-year streak in which he recorded at least 100 points. Now, he did rebound in the playoffs that year, notably when he scored a hat-trick in Game 7 of the Campbell Conference Finals against the Maple Leafs that knocked the Buds out of the playoffs and stopped any Montreal-Toronto Stanley Cup final. The victory propelled the Kings into the final round for the first time in franchise history, again where he faced the Habs, but they lost in 5 games. Now, he won the first contest, lost the next 3 in overtime, including 2 in LA, then fell 4-1 in the deciding 5th game, where Gretzky, get this, failed to get a shot on net. Now, the next season, Gretzky broke Gordie Howe's career goal-scoring record of 801 and won the scoring title. But the team again began a long slide, and despite numerous player and coaching moves, they failed to qualify to the playoffs until 1998. After the financially troubled McDonald was forced to sell the Kings in 94, and the debacle with the Argonauts, where he was co-owner with John Candy and McDonald, well, that was bleeding money as well, and McDonald was allegedly part of an elaborate kind of semi-Ponzi scheme. Gretzky's relationship with the Kings' new owners also grew strained. Under both McDonald and new ownership group, the team was fiscally unstable, to the point that paychecks to the players allegedly bounced. Finally, in early 96, Gretzky requested a trade. Now, during the 94-95 lockout, the preamble of this occurred when Gretzky and some friends, including Mark Messier, Marty McSorley, Brad Hull, and future playoff opponent Stevie Yzerman, formed the 99 All-Stars Tour and played 8 exhibition games in various countries. Now, after a somewhat mediocre halfway point of his season, Gretzky was totally fed up. He joined the St. Louis Blues in a trade for Patrice Tardif, Roman Volpat, Craig Johnson, and 2 draft picks, which turned out to be Peter Hogan and Matt Zutlik. St. Louis didn't give up too much to get Gretzky, but it showed on the ice as well. He partially orchestrated the trade after reports surfaced that he was unhappy in L.A. Now, was this the Gretzky-style trade from the owners of the Kings? No. They could have got a couple of number 1 picks, but he needed bodies, and LA was desperate for bodies. Now, at the time of the trade, the Blues and the Rangers emerged as frontrunners, but the Blues met his salary demands. Gretzky, when arriving in St. Louis, was immediately named the team's captain, and he really started to produce. He scored 37 points in 31 games for the team in the regular season and the playoffs, but the Blues came within 1 game of the conference final, where Steve Yzerman, of course, hit that long shot from half ice to knock off the Blues in 7 games. But Gretzky and Brett Hull, the magic that was supposed to occur never occurred. There was chemistry between Hull and Gretzky, but not enough to sustain 1 or 2 goals extra a game. Now, Gretzky was also forced to endure public criticism from his head coach, Mike Keenan, for the first time in his career. Long prior to either him or Gretzky joining the Blues, Keenan, who was nicknamed Iron Mike due to his reputation as one of the harshest disciplinarians of his era, had refused to moderate his coaching style, even while coaching Gretzky while he was with Team Canada during international tournaments, notably 1987 with Mario and the second best, allegedly the best Team Canada of all time. Now, Gretzky's professional relationship with Keenan was thus never particularly warm, and the coach's public rebukes effectively ended any realistic prospect of Gretzky remaining in St. Louis once he became a free agent. Now, Gretzky rejected a 3-year deal worth $15 million from the Blues, which doesn't sound too much in 2022, and on July 21st signed with the Rangers as a free agent, rejoining longtime Oilers teammate Mark Messier for a 2-year, $8 million plus incentive contract. Now, the magic that Messier and Gretzky had never really materialized in New York. This was several years past their Stanley Cup run, but it's interesting to break down that season, ladies and gentlemen, because Gretzky put up some good solid numbers in 1996. He had 102 combined points in 80 games, 23 goals, 79 assists for 102 points. In the playoffs, he was tremendous, 16 points in 13 games. But like I said, the hammer on the drum came where the Blues basically were shell-shocked by Detroit in the 7-game series. Not enough momentum, and Detroit outworked them and eventually became Stanley Cup victors down the road. Now, 97 was a good season for Gretzky, 97 points in 82 games. He had 90 points in 82 games, both seasons 25 and 23 goals. But what happened in Nagano in the 98 Olympics really was the nail in his coffin, because I don't think Gretzky was motivated enough to basically make that other run for a Stanley Cup and decide to retire in 99. But to see Gretzky in a St. Louis Blues jersey, albeit for 31 games, was a little bit out of place. I was watching like Pete Rose with the Expos and the big current Frank Thomas with the Blue Jays. It just didn't fit. So if anybody is a Wayne Gretzky fan out there, if you can find it on YouTube, some of the games against the Detroit in that playoff year, the games were quite exciting actually. But I think the Brett Hull-Gretzky situation, Adam Oates was a better fit for Brett Hull for obvious reasons. Gretzky and Brett Hull not the same, because Gretzky was never what he called a superstar feeder. Curry would have the open play, but Brett Hull was more of a Glenn Anderson type when he played with Gretzky, and as we know, Glenn Anderson was not the player that Brett Hull could or should have been, because he was all-around player. Team Canada, what they call product that played a two-way game. Was Brett Hull going to score more goals on Gretzky's line? Hard to tell. Robitaille and Gretzky's line would be a lot of points, but for some reason it didn't work out with Brett Hull. No disrespect, because Brett Hull was starting to fade in skill as well. He had been in the league for 10 plus years, and he took a lot of wear and tear. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Wayne Gretzky fan, again, check out some of those games on YouTube. And what was kind of bizarre, ladies and gentlemen, the lockout season, I don't think hurt him as much as a lot of people thought. He made, like I said, a dynamite 100-point comeback the next season. But hockey's a funny game, because you would think with St. Louis's rink, playing against Detroit and only a few other key squads on that side of the ledger, it would benefit Gretzky. But he just seemed like kind of lost, like he was looking for Robitaille. If you would have made a deal with Gretzky and Robitaille to come over from the Kings, I think it would have been a better fit, or even Curry. But they got nothing for him in the trade, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it was just a bunch of bodies. No disrespect to those players. Should have been better off with a couple of higher number one picks, or high number twos. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the story of Wayne Gretzky in St. Louis. Short but sweet, just a few months. And if you're a St. Louis Blues fan, I know it was a disappointing year, but then again, it wasn't disappointing when you won a cup a few years ago. And one announcer at KMOX, St. Louis, said, this is the Gretzky Cup we should have had years ago with Gretzky, which is true. The hard-working aspect of the St. Louis Stanley Cup winner had a lot to do with the best of the St. Louis teams of the late 1990s. Thanks for listening. Bye.